Let's talk about this and speak to Bijan Khajehpour. He's joining us now from Brussels. He's the managing partner at Atia International. That's a consulting firm that advises companies on entering the Iranian market. I'll ask you what your advice would be in just a moment. But first, let me ask you, who's wooing who here?
Sorry, I couldn't hear your question.
My question is, who is wooing who? Does France need Iran more, or does Iran need France more?
Okay. I think both sides need each other at the current juncture. From the Iranian perspective, Iran is at an important crossroads in terms of industrial, economic, and technological development. And the experiences of the past decade have shown that Europe is essentially the best source of technology and investment for Iran's path of development. As you know, Iran wants to be the region's #1 technological power within the next 10 years. And that requires a lot of solutions, a lot of technological solutions that Europe can offer. From the European perspective, it's important to understand the changing geopolitical and geostrategic realities in our region. I mean, some of the top concerns that Europe has right now, especially extremist terrorism, refugee crisis, some of the developments in the business sectors, they can somehow be relieved or addressed through a better or closer relationship with Iran. So I think both sides need each other, and that's important to understand that it's a mutual relationship.
The thing is, there still are some sanctions that are in place when it comes to Iran, like U.S. Financial sanctions. So there are still challenges for certain countries and companies when it comes to doing business in Iran.
Certainly, there are still some non-nuclear sanctions in place, and we also have the situation that for example, first-tier international banks, European banks, and other banks are relatively hesitant to enter Iran because of over-compliance, because of all the different due diligence processes. But the fact is that business is feasible again. For a lot of European companies, until the 16th of January, when the nuclear deal was implemented, direct business was very, very difficult. Now it's feasible again. It's possible to find
feasible how?
Solutions.
So what would your advice be then to those companies that are looking to enter the Iranian market?
My advice would be to first try to understand the market and understand the changes of the past 7, 8, or 10 years when these companies were absent. Iran has changed as a market. The Iranian companies have become much more confident in what they can do. Iran is not a simple market to export commodities or machinery. Iran is a market that is requesting European companies to come in and to create joint ventures, to partner with Iranians to develop new technologies, new solutions for the Iranian market.
Right.
On the other side, as you said, there are also obviously a number of risks. One has to understand these risks, but it's what I can underline is that it is now feasible, it's practical to enter the market, but one has to understand the dynamics of the market and the different risks that still exist.
Thank you very much for speaking to us from Brussels.